With a frighteningly powerful upswing of his massive leg, Sea Captain Dan planted his foot onto the rigor mortis carcass of his favorite dead gecko. He lifted it a towering 45 yards, spiral, a dream punt. The gecko made a cool splashing sound as it hit the water, and its body was immediately devoured by the sharks that gathered to watch the action. "That's a winner!" shouted the judge, beating the next best punt by 11 yards. Sea Captain Dan had just won the festive dead pet punting contest for the 17th consecutive year. Life can be boring on the high seas, and good entertainment resources are often limited, so the dead pet punting contest was considered a great annual holiday, and it was anxiously awaited by the crew each year. Many sailors buy pets during port stops, but most pets don't acclimate well to shipboard life and quickly die due to rickets or scurvy or whatnot. As a result, each sailor usually has about 3 or 4 dead pets by the end of each year. In order to prevent decay and odor, the pets must be frozen immediately upon discovery of their death. But before the contest begins, frozen pets must be thawed for at least 30 minutes per ounce to adequately thaw to give them the good punting aerodynamic qualities of a good, well-preserved pet. An inadequately thawed pet would give the punter an unfair advantage. So all heads and legs and tails must be free to flop around during flight, or else it would be considered an illegal punt. Pet selection is always an important topic of discussion just before a big port stop. The sailors don't want to buy pets that would be difficult to punt when they die. So the sailors mainly look for pets with short legs, stubby tails, small heads, little to no ears. Hamsters, fat geckos, turtles, and rat mice type are usually the most popular models. Some sailors would seek out rut kittens or puppies, which is a huge gamble, since 4 to 6 week old puppies and kittens punt well, but it makes sense to want one. But the gamble was if they would die soon. Pups live too long would undoubtedly make for a losing punt. One year, an unfortunate sailor had to punt an 8-month-old Labrador Retriever because the dang thing took forever to die. First it had scurvy for about 3 weeks, but then it made an unfortunate recovery. But then next it contracted a horrible infection that really got the sailor's hopes up, but the clumsy pup fell into a vat of antibiotics. And then next it contracted rickets, which eventually killed it, but it hung on way too long. And because I think Sea Captain Dan might have been slipping it a little bit of vitamin B. Well, needless to say, the dog didn't even make it to the water on the first kick. The sailor's foolish gamble cost him to finish last place with a punt of only 10 inches, and he had 3 broken metatarsals. Sea Captain Dan was a true champion for many reasons. His powerful leg and colossal feet made certainly a tremendous asset. But in all, sports strategy played a major role in his long string of victories. One of his main strategies was to select the pets with the best flesh that became dense and rubbery upon thawing. Stubby geckos were always best, but he had one with a hamster and a few other things on a few occasions. He knew that snakes were to be avoided at all costs, because it seems obvious, but the snake wouldn't punt well, and each year that a few stupid sailors trying to punt a boca or a python, it usually takes 3 minutes just to get the snake untangled from the punter's ankle. And of course the punt always goes nowhere. Sea Captain's best strategy was simply involve taking full advantage of being captain. He made sure that when he punted, the ship was positioned with the wind directly behind him, which allowed the punt to ride the breeze for a few extra yards. When anyone else turned to punt, they always had to punt into the wind, and that always made the punts kind of blow slightly backwards. The man definitely knew how to take advantage of being captain. This was unfair for sure, but many times he got shafted when he was just a mere ensign, and somehow it didn't bother his conscience. Poetic justice. It's a beautiful thing.